Hey there, welcome to the Jeff and Heidi Show, where you're going to have the opportunity to listen to and learn from everyday entrepreneurs. Hey, welcome to the Jeff and Heidi Show. This is Jeff Heggie of Jeff Heggie Coaching and my co-host Heidi Anderson of ECI Secure Pay. Thanks for being with us. I'm excited today to have Charles Schultz with us. We're excited to get talking about what he does and some of his history. But just to give you a bit of a background, Charles is a former Division I baseball player at Youngstown State University, where he was a first-team freshman All-American, as well as a member of the first team to reach the NCAA tournament in their school's history. Since completing his playing career, he has continued to work with young and up-and-coming athletes through training and coaching. Since 2007, Charles has trained and coached hundreds of athletes, helped many of them achieve their dreams of playing in college. And it's through training and coaching that Charles has discovered his true passion, which is to teach and help others discover the greatness within themselves. Charles hopes to continue to develop as a leader and inspire the next generation of athletes and coach to become excellent in all aspects of their development. And that's what I'm excited about today, is because we do talk to a lot of athletes that turn their passion into their livelihood. And so I'm excited to talk to you today, Charles. Share a little bit more, tell us a little bit more about yourself, and let's get going.
Yeah, I mean, I think you nailed most of the key highlights there. Is the college career was pretty awesome. I got a chance to play at Youngstown, which is a Division I school. It was actually, what's interesting, it was my only Division I offer. And so I kind of jumped on it thinking, you know what, why not? Let's give it a shot. And then I earned a starting spot my freshman year and obviously had a really good year and got recognized for it. And then my sophomore year is when we went to the NCAA tournament and got to play against Texas. And that was quite the experience for sure. But I think the biggest thing for me with my trajectory is it all started when I was in high school and I got a chance to play for a man. His name's Coach Steven Gussler. And he hit all the right buttons and motivated me and changed the way I looked at things and how I approached what I was doing. I still remember a play when I was in high school. I made a diving play in the hole and I tried to throw from my knees and I dropped the ball while I was transferring it from my glove to my bare hand. And he comes flying out of the dugout and screams at me. He's like, "What are you doing? Get on your feet and throw the damn ball." And I'm like, "I just dove, dude. I made a great play." And in my mind, I'm like angry. Like, why are you yelling at me? I just made this play. But after I calmed down from the emotions of that, I realized I was selling myself short and being lazy. I made this great play in the hole, but I didn't do the extra step, the effort to get to my feet to make a throw. And because of that, I fumbled the ball and I lost the out. And yeah, I mean, I made a play in the hole that probably most of the kids in high school weren't going to get to, but his expectations of me was higher. And it was in that moment that I realized, you know what, go all in or don't go, go hard or go home. And I've kind of used that mentality going forward through my college career and now as a coach. And I try to instill that in my players. And that's kind of the key turning point for me. And then I believe when we talked before, I told you he passed. And that was kind of the moment that I decided to get into coaching and give back. Because I was like, you know what, this man changed my life. I feel like I owe it to him to return those lessons to those people that are coming up behind me. And it kind of led me down the coaching path and the training avenue and working in that direction.
Did you play at all after college? Did you play any pro or minor league or?
So my career ended on a sour note. Personally, I didn't get along very well with my college coach in my senior year. I think he's a great man, my college coach. He really is. And I think he meant well by the way he approached things. I just don't think that me and him connected. And you're going to have that sometimes. You're going to be coached by people that you don't connect well with. And in my youth, I'd let my emotions take control. And I had a moment in practice and we kind of got into it a little bit. And I found myself on the bench and I thought it was an unfair benching. It was one of those situations that kind of put a sour taste in my mouth. And so when I finished playing and nothing came of the draft, I was kind of bitter about it. And so I kind of put baseball away for a while. And after a year, I started getting myself back in shape. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to do what I can to get in shape. Maybe I'll go do a tryout or something. But when it was all said and done, I got in myself good shape. I was back to my playing performance level. But I thought in my mind that, at this point in my life, is it worth the day in, day out grind of being on the road, fighting for opportunities? Obviously, as a non-drafted pickup, I wasn't going to be the first go-to guy. And I thought my path was a different direction at that point. So I was satisfied, at least, that I gave myself that moment away. And then I came back strong and gave a little bit of effort to get myself mentally right again. And I think it paid off well for me, because I can accept the fact that I messed up in that situation now in college. And I should have bit my tongue. And it's one of those, I wish I could see what both paths would have looked like, because I'm really happy with the one I'm on. But it would have been cool to see what could have happened, because I thought I was pretty good at baseball and could have had at least a little bit of a career afterwards. So it would have been interesting to see what happened there.
One of the things, just talking about your high school coach and your university coach as well, on my Daily Success Strategies podcast, I recently talked a lot about mentorship. And obviously these were mentors to you, and that's what you're doing now. Talk to me about what your thoughts are on mentorship, the importance of it, and whether it's an athlete or someone else, what your thoughts are all around the topic of mentorship.
I believe that anybody who wants to achieve something great should find somebody who's been on that path to learn from. So I think mentorship is the key to ultimate high level growth. If you don't understand the path you're walking, if you don't learn from those who came before you, and you just try to make it up on your own, yes, you might get there, but the road's going to be so much harder. And so I think there's so much value in the mentorship relationship for both parties. I think that you can learn from somebody who's been there, and along the way, they get something from you, and the value is given back to them from watching you grow and develop and maybe miss some of the mistakes that they made. And then along the way, I think there's also some opportunities to build and connect and grow a great relationship in that. And it becomes bigger than just I help this person to the next level, or that person helped me to the next level. It's a bond that carries you into that level that you're trying to achieve. That's my personal belief. I think I think that you can achieve greatness without it. I just think it's a lot harder if you're closing doors on opportunities to connect with people who understand the path you're taking.
So now, are you coaching like a baseball team, like a high school baseball team, or are you coaching individual baseball players as a mentor, like you're describing?
Both. Right now I have a 13U baseball team. It's a travel team. We actually have a game tonight, and I do private instruction for baseball and softball hitters. And we do a lot of weightlifting as well with that group. So I'm working with both individuals as well as the team aspect of the sport.
So how does someone go about finding the right mentor?
That's an interesting question. I think there's a lot of trial and error in that, to be honest. I think you have to, like I said before, be open to communicating and asking for help from people, and not be afraid to knock on some doors of people maybe you don't know. A lot of my podcast people that I connect with are people I don't necessarily know on a personal level. And by being unafraid to reach out and try to connect, you open doors to opportunities that you may not otherwise have. And not every mentor is going to fit your personality. And that's the thing about it, is you can't just say, well, that's who I want to be, so I'm going to go get that person and make sure that they're my mentor. Because one, they may not be looking for somebody to mentor. And two, they may not be the right fit. They may not match your personality. They may not connect with you on the level that you need to be connected with to help you fully grow. And so I think that you have to constantly be striving to connect with people, to build relationships, and then to, when the timing is right, be willing to put yourself out there and ask for help. Because that's the other thing too. You can build a great relationship with somebody who you want to be your mentor, but if you don't ever reach out and go, hey, how do you feel about taking me under your wing and showing me a few things? They'll never know that that's what you're searching for. That's what you're seeking. So there's a lot of, I think in this day and age, there's a lot of fear behind asking people for help. I guess it's maybe seen as a weakness, or I don't know, maybe it's a social media aspect of we always see the bright lights, the good things. And we don't realize that a lot of times the reason why they're standing in the bright light is because they had to walk through the dark to get there, and they found their way because they saw a little spotlight at the end of the tunnel and they followed that light and somebody led them there. And I think we lose that connection piece that could very well be the difference between us reaching our full potential and, ending somewhere in the middle.
Now, are you only working with athletes, or do you also work just with business people and entrepreneurs and people who, and that kind of coaching?
So I don't work with any entrepreneurs or business people at this point. I wouldn't be against it. I think that there's crossover between athletics and business. In my opinion, I think there's a lot of things that can be learned from playing sport that then applies to the business world. I do have a person who I went through my master's program with, who's reached out to me a couple of times about helping him if he ends up purchasing a gym. He's out in California. He's looking to get he runs a swim team out there. And so he's looking to get a gym with a pool and do some things. And he's looking for somebody to help when that time comes. And I said, when it happens, just reach out. I'm here, but it hasn't connected yet. I don't know to what extent they're even open, to be honest. I think they're still battling through some of the restrictions with the COVID stuff. So It's a little bit of a tough spot for them. But no, I'm open to, honestly, I like teaching. I like coaching. I like that type of interaction with people. So I'm always looking for opportunities to connect with people. And, that's the one thing for me, is that the more I can connect, the more I learn from them too. So it's kind of a two-way street, in my opinion. That's why I'm always down and interested to have those conversations with people.
One of the reason I was talking about this on my other podcast was I talked to a lot of people about, you need a coach or a mentor or anyone that's going to help you, that's not a close friend or family member that's going to just give you the answers that they think you should have. But I had someone talk to me recently saying, I want to be a mentor. I just don't know if I have what it takes. And so, from your standpoint, looking at it from a baseball perspective, it's like, okay, what would you do if you could go back and give your 17-year-old self some advice? Knowing what you know now, what would you do? And so they talked to me about that. And I said, well, there's other kids right now that are that 17-year-old you that you need to mentor. And so there's so much power in the experience that mentors have, that we can help people. And that's what I love about coaching, is because I like to joke, but it's not really a joke, is I've screwed up enough. I can help you get through things and not go through the pitfalls I've been through. Exactly. So no, I appreciate that. And like you talking about your high school coach, I reflect on my high school coaches. There's things I do today that I can directly correlate to things that I learned from my high school coaches. And so mentorship goes a long ways. I'd like to talk more about the business side of things. You've developed this into your livelihood. So you're doing the coaching stuff, but tell us more about the Edge of Greatness.
So that's a recent branch from the coaching aspect of things. So I started initially as just a strength and conditioning coach. I have the business Superfit Ohio. It's where I do my training out of and my hitting lessons and do all those types of things. And right at the beginning of, I think it was actually the beginning of 2020, actually. So that's last January is when I launched Edge of Greatness. And it was initially just I had this, idea about an apparel brand that I could put different slogans and sayings on that would inspire people to maybe put in a little bit of extra effort in the gym and the weight room. And then I started thinking about it and I'm like, I don't really like clothes that much. I don't know why I thought apparel was the way to go. Like, it's not for me. But you're
modeling one of the shirts right now, right?
I am. Yeah, I do.
If anybody's watching this on YouTube, you can see one of his shirts.
But, and actually this is one of my hats too. So,
yeah, okay.
But I'm not a big clothing guy. I'm not trying to go and, do photo shoots and stuff like that. I just thought it was a cool idea, but I do like teaching. I do like coaching. And that's where the podcasts came in. And I have a blog on the website. I've got the podcast that I've started to lead me more into the coaching path, and hopefully maybe down the road where I can do more public speaking and some opportunities to get in front of teams. And with all of the podcast episodes, I'm actually working on trying to put together a book using some of the information that I've got from the guests I've had as different parts of the chapters that I'm putting together. And I guess the biggest thing with the Edge of Greatness is initially I was like, this is going to motivate some people, but now I'm like, we all are seeking greatness to some extent. We all want to be good at something. Like whatever we're pursuing, whether it's in business, sports, coaching, parenting, whatever, we want to be great at that thing. Sometimes we just don't understand all the steps that are necessary or what we can do along the way to achieve that. And that was kind of where the turn happened for me, where, well, maybe I can help. I can maybe bring somebody on who has expertise in, coaching and leadership and mental approach and, communication. There are so many different aspects that people can utilize to take a step closer to their greatness. And maybe I can be that somebody who helps kind of inspires that step for them.
Now, did you say you also own a gym?
I do own a gym. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're busy.
That's my day to day. I'm there most of the time. That's where I'm spending most of my time.
Do you find coaching opportunities there as far as like people who come in and then you become their coach, or how does that work for you?
So yeah, I have a large number of athletes that I train on a day-to-day basis, which is fun. So I get to talk to them about what they're doing and what they're going through in their sports and their life. And I also have, I don't know, maybe 8 to 10 general population people, which is cool because then I talk to them more on the business side of things, or parenting, or being a grandparent, or whatever those life experiences are. And it's cool because I get to see all the different levels and layers of what's going on in people's lives, from the high school student to even younger, and then all the way up to, being a grandparent and spending time with the grandkids and going on vacation with the family and those types of experiences. And it gives me a broad spectrum of opportunities to learn and grow and add value to when I talk to the next person.
I like that. What the thought that I'm having in my mind, you just play right into it, because who you're interacting with and what you're doing, you learn and grow. Even if you're the coach or the teacher, you're still learning and growing from those around you. And whether it's from your experience as a student athlete, going through high school, going through college, or what you're doing now, or from what you're learning from your guests on your own podcast. One of the things on my other shows that I put a lot of focus on are things like mindset and success habits and stuff. Now, what would you suggest for someone that is listening to this and they're like, yeah, he's describing me exactly. I want to be great. I want to be great as a baseball player. I want to be great as a mom, whatever that is. What are some of the success habits that you see the most successful people doing that they do on a regular basis?
I think there's several things that can play into this. So, it can go in a lot of directions here, but I'm going to start with one of the big things that I notice about the really successful people is they're not afraid to stretch themselves to a level that's a little bit uncomfortable. They're in their mind of understanding that if I go out on a limb and I reach for a goal, but I fall a little bit short and fail, I'm not a failure. I just fell short in this moment. And that is a learning opportunity to make an adjustment, to pivot, to change directions, or whatever you need to do to in the future potentially be successful. And the people who are risking failure on a regular basis get comfortable being in that zone of trying different things and being okay with falling a little bit short. It's the mindset of understanding that, failure doesn't mean that you are a failure. It means that you're close to a great breakthrough or success. You don't get to the highest levels without making missteps. Everybody falls a little bit short before they find themselves on top. And that's the hardest thing for a lot of people to understand, is that they don't like the feeling of failing. And I think that's what's great about a sport like baseball is I got used to failing early. You don't go and play a baseball game without failure. It's just something you have to deal with. And for me, so I'm comfortable risking things, because if I succeed 30% of the time, I'm a Hall of Famer, so that gives me a lot of confidence to go, all right, this is something, I'm gonna try it. We'll see what happens. Okay, that didn't work. What's my next option? What door did it open? Because whenever something misses, another door opens. And if you have the mindset that says, when this door shuts, instead of focusing on the shut door, looking for the next open door, think of it like you're in a room with a bunch of pressure. And when one door shuts, that pressure pushes something else open, right? All the doors are just kind of slightly shut. They're not latched. So when you pull the one door shut, the other one cracks open, right? If you think of your life like that, when a door slams in your face and you don't make that success, something opened. The pressure had to go somewhere. So where can you look and find your next move? And I think that's one of the key things that the really successful people do is they don't dwell on the mistakes or shortcomings. They look for the next opportunity.
You know, you said something as you're talking that I was thinking as well, that baseball is the best analogy for that. Because if you're batting, like you said, you're batting 300, you're a Hall of Famer.
Right.
And, you know, people don't look at it that way as, oh, I failed and so I'm useless or whatever. You know, and we hear all the time, you know, fail forward, fail fast. You got to fail to succeed. All these different cliche things we hear. But then when you're in it, failing sucks.
It does.
And it's hard to handle that. So what would you, because I think that fear of failing is, like you were saying, what holds a lot of people back. So what would you suggest that someone that knows if they want to be successful, they've got to be, as you said, not afraid to stretch themselves, not afraid to get out there and fail, but that fear is holding them back. So how do they overcome that?
I think there's a lot of things that go into play for why we don't make the first step. But the biggest thing about momentum is you have to get the ball rolling to create it. It's not just going to start all of a sudden. So at some point, you have to just go close your eyes and take that step and hope that there's a bridge out in front of you, like the Invisible Bridge. What's that movie? It's Indiana Jones, actually, the leap of faith or whatever, right? He steps out on the ledge. You can't see it. Looks like he's falling to it. He closes his eyes, takes a step, and he's like, oh, all right, cool. There is a ledge. But you have to have that faith at some point that it's going to work out. And it may not work out for that particular move or that particular thing you're trying to do. But without taking a step forward, without getting the ball rolling, you're not going to get anywhere at all. So while failure does suck, and when those moments happen, it's okay to look at that and feel bad for a moment. Don't get lost in that moment, though. Find a way to go, okay, that moment was uncomfortable. I'm really disappointed that it didn't work out. I own it. Now what? Don't think about all the things you could have done different in that situation. Don't think about, because it's over. You can't change what's happened, but you can change the next thing. And so one of the big things when I played baseball that I always used to do would say next pitch, because no matter what happened to pitch before, no matter what happened to play before, that's over. I can't change that. I had a game in college where I had 5 errors in one game. It was really bad. It was awful. It was my freshman year. I'm playing third base, which I'm not. That's not my key position. That's not my place, but it was my only spot to get on the field. So I was like, you know what? Put me there. Let's see what happens. I made 5 errors in one game. And it could have been one of those things that I just held on to and been an absolute mess for the rest of the weekend, the rest of the season. But between games, I sat behind the dugout by myself. I thought about the mistakes for a moment. And then all of a sudden I was like, you know what? Why am I still thinking about this? I can't do anything about it. The game is over. The plays are over. If I think about them for too long, that's all I'm going to be is that mistake. So I flushed it. And the next game I go out and I want to say I was 3 for 5 and I had 4 RBIs or something like that. And we bounced back and I don't think I made an error in the next game. And it was one of those moments for me where I was like, you're going to have bad moments along any journey that you're trying to be good at something. It's just part of the journey. Don't let those be the complete and utter stop to your momentum. If you just keep rolling a little bit, all it has to do is keep a little bit of momentum. Just don't come to a full stop.
Yeah, I guess really if you don't experience any failure, it probably is because you're not putting yourself out there enough. You're not risking anything. It's like you're always playing it safe. And it, as you said, that's the opportunity for growth is actually in the failure, but being able to leave it behind you and look forward.
Yeah, I always say there's no joy in doing something you can do. Like if you're going to be successful, do you celebrate that success? I mean, honestly, because if it's going to be a win, was there any ever nerves? Did you feel like you had to focus? Was there anything that you grew out of that situation from? Because like you said, if you're not in a position where you might not win or you might not succeed, you definitely will not grow. And, there's a lot of talk between like the mental health performance stuff about flow and finding yourself in that flow state doesn't happen when it's too easy. Flow state doesn't happen when it's too hard. It has to be in that middle ground where, well, I don't know what the outcome is going to be here. It's right at the edge of what I think I can do. But all of a sudden you find yourself going into this zone that you're like, this is it. I got this. And then it happens and it clicks. And there's no other way to explain it other than the world goes blank and you go on, and you get in the zone, and it's a lot of fun there. But there has to be a level of uncertainty. There has to be some difficulty in there. If it's too easy or too hard, you're going to find yourself not going anywhere.
Absolutely. No, that's great. And, as you're talking about that, one of the things I thought about is I really love Tammy Matheny's philosophy on this. She calls it her win. What's important now? Mm-hmm. And so, you had 5 errors or whatever, but what's important now? Because you can't change that. So.
No, there's like what happened, and then there's a story you make up about what happened, right? And right. Sometimes that's what gets people stuck. It's like I said, I made a mistake, therefore I'm a failure. I just can't do this anymore. Yeah. Or you learn from it, you move on.
Or you don't even try because your fear of failure is so much.
Right.
And that's the thing about fear, is that you're putting so much energy and focus on something in the future that hasn't even happened. Like, why give that so much power? Because if you fail, you know what? Most of the time it's not as bad as you've imagined. Now, and if it is, it's still, you get through it.
I don't know if you've ever heard the acronym for fear: false evidence appearing real.
Right. Yeah. Or F everything and run. I've heard them both.
That's pretty funny.
I prefer the face everything and rise, but
There you go. There's another good one.
That one's better.
Yeah, a little more positive.
All right. Well, hey, that is awesome. We really appreciate you joining us and love what you're doing. Why don't you share with us where people can follow you, where they can find you, and more about your podcast so they can listen to that as well?
Yeah. So the podcast is the Edge of Greatness podcast. You can find it on Spotify and iTunes. I believe I have it on Google Play as well. And that might be the big 3 that I got it on. I'm active on Twitter. That's probably where I'm most active. And that's at Coach_Schultz. I believe. I could be wrong. It's Coach Schultz or something like that. And then I have an Instagram at Coach Schultz7. And then on Instagram, I also have an Edge of Greatness apparel page and an Edge of Greatness podcast page where I'll put clips from the podcast and get some different little promos up there. And then lastly, I guess you can find the website is the edgeofgreatnessproject.com, and that'll have all of the episodes of the podcast. It'll have the blog, it'll have the apparel, it'll have a way to email and get a hold of me, and I think a few other things down there.
Oh, so you do still have the apparel. You were just saying that you didn't know why you got into that.
Yeah, I still have it.
You still have it. It's still available if anybody wants the.
It is still available. There are units left, and I'll probably restock it if enough people buy it. It's not my favorite part of the thing, right, of what I'm doing. It's another piece of getting the word out there that, you can be great. You can pursue excellence. You have the ability within you. I believe a lot of my stuff is aimed at, fail forward, or the hat I'm wearing says forged by failure. Because I think we're all forged by the mistakes we make. When a failure happens, one door shuts, but another one opens. So we have a decision in that moment of failure. Are we going to continue on the path we're on and try again? Or are we going to change directions? Or are we going to quit and retreat? And all those options could be viable depending on the situation. But every failure creates a dink in the statue, right? You're going to have, you're looking at every strike of the marble, a piece falls off and we're getting chipped away. And each failure is a part of that sculpture coming to life. And we eventually become who we're meant to be.
Awesome. And I'll make sure that all those links are in the show notes. And just for clarification, Twitter is at Coach_Schultz.
There we go.
I'll make sure they're all in the in the show notes. Well, hey, thank you very much for taking the time to be with us today and sharing your knowledge and information. It's been great having you.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
I'm looking for entrepreneurs, athletes, coaches, and other high achievers who want to discover their full potential. Those that have dreams and desires of getting to the next level and just need to figure out how to get there. Hi, my name is Jeff Heggie. I'm a success coach, and I want to show you the truth about developing a powerful mindset. One of the biggest things holding people back from achieving their dreams is their own limiting beliefs. And the bad thing about limiting beliefs is they prevent you from discovering your true potential and cause you to settle for way less than you really deserve. I've seen this time and again in business, athletics, all areas of life. And worst of all, many people never get past the idea that achieving their biggest dreams in life is just that, a dream. But luckily, now there's a solution for this problem. So if you're an entrepreneur, athlete, coach, or other high achiever that really wants to get to the next level, but it just hasn't happened yet, here's the solution you've been looking for. I want to introduce you to High Achievers Mindset Secrets. High Achievers Mindset Secrets is designed to help you gain control of your future, become absolutely clear on your goals and how you're going to achieve them, discover the true potential of what you have within yourself, and live every day with confidence. Intentionally live the life you desire, and much, much more. From day one, you'll be able to start implementing the strategies that will bring results into your life. High Achievers Mindset Secrets is designed specifically to meet your needs, and there's 3 options for you to choose from. First of all, there's the 6-module course. Over the course of these 6 modules, you'll learn the momentum cycle, the success cycle, and how to make them work in your favor. How to build confidence and self-belief. You'll learn to create clear goals, understand what you need to do to achieve them, and most importantly, you'll discover your why for each one. And I'll tell you now, it's not what you think. You'll learn the power of mindset questions, visualization, and having a vivid vision. You'll learn the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset and how you can change it. You'll understand the importance of proximity as power. You'll create personal development habits that lead to success. And you'll create your own personal success formula. You'll also learn the connection of mindset and mental health, the importance of state, modeling, and mindfulness, and so much more. The second option is the Academy. In the Academy, you get the full 6-module course, plus some specific, specialized one-on-one coaching. In the team program, it's designed for athletic teams, sales teams, executive teams, any team that wants to maximize its potential. Each person on the team will go through the 6-module course, and then there will be some group coaching specifically with me. So again, if you're an entrepreneur, athlete, coach, or any other high achiever that really wants to get to the next level and you're committed to making it happen, you know every day counts. You deserve to be living the life that you want on your rules. You deserve to achieve those dreams, start that business, win that championship, get recruited, whatever that is that you desire. There's never been a better time in history to make a change and take charge of your future. You work hard, you want it bad, you're committed to making it happen. Let's do it now. So get on board with the High Achievers Mindset Secrets, because I look forward to working with you.
Get more details at mindset.jeffhagee.com.